Family, this is me, your girl, Empress Goddess of Georgia Peach, your host with the most. Man, what niggas won't do for clout? Huh? I don't know this. I don't know. He claimed that he robbed me. This dude claimed he robbed Miko, took his phone and stuff, and he been on his channel streaming for the last couple of days. Max V. World brought this to our attention here Sunday night, and this Negro still on the phone on his page streaming. So y'all, I want y'all opinion. Do y'all think this is for clout or what?
You know, typical Atlanta, nothing to do. Miko not coming tonight. He in Lawrenceville chilling in an apartment. Oh, you already know where he at? You talked to him? That's crazy. That's good to hear. I really don't give a fuck, but I guess that's good. You wouldn't have to be on point in your own hood. I mean, niggas die every day. You feel me?
This fool crazy, man.
You feel me? Oh, you got a little move for me. What's up, auntie? You know what I'm saying? I'm a figure out here. You feel me? Shay, let these folks know what the fuck going on, man. Hold on, I gotta turn it around. You gotta come over here.
Hold on, babe.
Shay, let them folks know what's going on. You see what I'm saying? That's just what we doing. Boy, it cold as fuck out here, boy. Okay, I get it. I see what y'all want. Y'all want nigga to hop out on foot. Okay, boo. We ain't tripping. It cold as hell, though. You know him. Y'all know I'm a skinny nigga. Y'all know I'm skinny, bro. You know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? You feel me? Why you ain't up in no coochie? You know, that's actually a good question. That's actually a great question. Let me read these comments. You gonna give me some? You gonna give me some coochie? I can come lay up in yours. Huh? You talking about me? What happened? Huh? Nah, I'm gonna lie. I was saying they asked me a question, so I'm like, shit. You feel me? I feel like that's an appropriate answer. I don't know, shit. If you wanna give me some coochie, I can lay up in yours. Wrong or right? I'm just saying. You said what happened? Facts. And you know, sometimes I be turning that shit down. I don't be wanna hit that shit. Hello? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I'm on Glenwood right now. It's on you though. It's on Miko shit. I think you gotta goddamn go to the go to the go to the go to the fucking yeah, facts type shit. Yeah, facts. And then it should be on there. I'm gonna send it to you though. Alright, man, I'm finna send it to you now. Alright, bye. Shorty talking about show the passenger seat. Who lacking? I'm lacking. Yeah, I am lacking. I ain't got no fire on me. Right, I am lacking.
Hello.
No, man, I gotta come back all the way up to the top. And you don't got no pipe on you, you lacking. On God, I am. On God, I'm lacking. I ain't got no pole. I'm not having no pole on me right now.
Now, y'all, this nigga was
Stop it,
talking
Miko right
about
there with you. Ain't nobody right here with me.
he robbed Miko the other
Which
night.
McDonald's you work at, bro?
Stole
Honestly,
his
bro, in life,
laptop,
like, I've
his
never worked at a
phone, and
McDonald's.
his car.
Swear to God. Like,
It
I've
was
never
look.
worked at a
Now,
McDonald's.
if he did do
Patty's
that,
not
now I
auntie,
don't know.
please.
Anything's possible, but I don't know if this is a publicity stunt
Boy,
or
you
what.
boy, you broke
But if
hood
he
talking about he a
did rob
figure.
them niggas, got the nigga, why be on
Yeah,
TV?
funny as
Why
fuck.
would you be on
That Nike
social
tech ain't
media
it
bragging
either,
about what
fully.
you
I
did?
ain't tripping.
Only a dummy would do
All
that
his
shit.
friends are crackheads. Hello. She ain't stunning none of that. Okay. I called the cops on you, did you? Yeah, we want you to get your life together, bro. It's already together. What the fuck are y'all talking about? Glenwood Part 2? Yeah, I'm saying, do y'all really want G Block Part 2, bro? For real, for real? Cause like y'all be saying that shit, but like y'all don't be acting like
They
y'all want
doing it
me to
like
get that shit
for
to y'all for real. Goofy ass ATL dudes. Damn, for real? That's how y'all coming behind this shit, bro? A bum with a gun. Already too much violence going on in the city, facts. He ain't got no job, flipping. You definitely got a pole, bro. I ain't got no pole on me, bro. Oh, God, I don't. Y'all mind if I sit in here real quick?
this a damn clown right
Yeah.
here.
Nah, oh, I know you lying, bro. Ain't nobody lying, bro. I don't have no gun on me, man. You definitely got a pole, bro. I do not have no gun on me, bro. I'm in the hood right now at the store lacking. I ain't got no gun on me.
But the
I
other
ain't got no
night he
gun
was
on me. Y'all nigga
somewhere.
pull up
He
on me.
was on the stream flashing a
Y'all nigga
gun.
pull up on me.
I had
Come see
said
something
that
real
was
quick.
Miko chain, and from what I understand, they said
Come
there
see
was a
something.
change of Miko will, but I don't know if this was cloud
A
or
hood
what.
dude with no gun on him
But
talking
if
crazy
this
online,
fool
you have to carry that
did
thing all the
rob
time
Miko,
and sleep with it, bro.
but like
Bro, I
this
don't
is
have no
Miko's
gun, bro.
channel, Miko World
I don't be
9.
sleeping with no
He is on
gun.
here
I sleep
streaming
comfortable
from his channel.
with the fan on and my socks off.
These fools crazy,
I can't
man.
sleep with socks on. I don't know about y'all. Serial killers sleep with their socks on. You feel me? I'm coming to Glenwood Park right now. Be ready, bro. Okay, bro. I'm here, bro. God damn. She talking about be ready. You be ready, loser.
This shit
They
crazy.
on the way up here. They on the way up there, twin. Oh
Nigga ain't
shit,
got
they
no
you.
sense.
Okay, boo. I'm waiting on them. One way in, one way out, though. It's a gas station, so be cautious on that. Cause once you come in the door, I'm saying, the chat scary. Shit, shit not talking about nothing. I can bring you a gun better. I'm saying, bro, bring me a gun, period. I don't even have no gun. I'm up there bit lacking, loafing. Thinking my face card gonna save me. Oh God, that's what I'm up here doing. Thinking my face card gonna save me. Thinking nigga gonna run up here and nigga gonna be like, oh nah, that little bro, you can't be doing all that. Nah, hell nah, bro. Y'all nigga gotta get up out of here. Tight shit, tight shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You stole Miko phone, bro. I did a whole lot worse. Weird as fuck on some goofy timing. He work at that gas station. I wouldn't pull up. Hold on. I was just thinking nobody goes anywhere with a pole. That's all I was saying. For sure. I get it. I understand. I get your point of view. You know what I mean? So it's like shit. Yeah, man, Niggas ain't doing that. Now my nose running because it's cold as hell outside. Oh God. Hey, I'm good, bro. You know what I'm saying? Back outside. Bro, keep talking about don't move, bro. Nigga not moving nowhere. I already told y'all niggas I ain't got no gun on me. So what? You talking about don't move like I'ma run somewhere, like I'ma run and get a gun. I don't got no gun. I'm lacking. Big loaf, you know what I'm saying? Big loafer, you know what I'm saying? Big loafer outside. I'm loafing like shit out here. Yeah, big loaf. Feel me? Big loaf. They finna pull up. I hope so. I hope so. Brr, big loaf. Brr, big loaf. You know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Bro, stop responding to the gun comment. The fuck, you goofy for real, bro. I'm telling you, I don't got it, bro. So I'm trying to let y'all know, like, y'all pull up on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna have it on me. No cap.
This
I'm not gonna have it on me.
man.
Thought you was outside. I am. Why the EBT sign so big? Because he want to let motherfuckers know, you got that card, come here, we taking it, swipe it. Hello. You feel me? Like, that's all I'm saying, bro. Like, the last guy recording a crime on video is the last thing you'll hear him speak of. Don't move. I ain't gonna move, bro. Damn, what happened to you and Miko? You on a break from the gas station? I guess so. Joe Camel nose looking ass. That wasn't even funny. No, keep fighting. Hey, man, let's race. If you got money for real. What you driving in? You out the paddle.
This food
Go
is
get some
problem.
food, smoke one, and chill, my guy. No crashing out. I respect that, King. I respect that. You feel me? When it's the fight. Shit, I don't know, man. It's gonna have to be after goddamn. It's gonna have to be goddamn. Oh shit. I seen that shit. Damn, Bug almost took my arm off. He know Miko coming at all. It staged when he was in the hotel. He never came outside. All I'm saying is, bro. Bro. Niggas, y'all keep saying the same thing. Y'all keep saying this is that and this. But in reality, this is what y'all want to see. Y'all want to see a nigga outside on these streets.
This shit
You
crazy,
feel me? So
man.
that's what I'm doing. We're tracking your locations. Good. So you already know where I'm at. So it's going to be easy for you to find me. He running. I'm literally walking. Get off live, 12, fam. Hot as fuck. 12 hot as fuck, fam. Nah, bro. You straight. You straight, my G. You straight, my G. Not Traveler's Guide. Go get him, Tiger. You funny as fuck. That's so funny.
He's funny. He's a dummy.
Every move I had. What's your IG, bro? GKB6 underscore. GKB6 underscore. I think it's underscore dot. But you'll see it. You'll know me when you see me. But yeah, man. Shit, we ain't doing shit. Man, that little shit sound fast. We ain't doing shit. Just out here, you feel me? Shit, auntie scared me, didn't she? What's your IG, bro? I just told you GKB6_. He already crashing out. PD coming. Damn, boy, that cold as fuck out here, boy. Dude, get a job. I got a couple on. Cap. Cap. I'm just saying, like, bro, like I told y'all, bro, I ain't got no gun. I don't have no weapon on me. I have no gun. So, you know what I'm saying? If a nigga pull up on me right now and catch me, guess what? I ain't got no gun. I can't protect myself. You feel me? I can't protect myself. Bro, I ain't gonna lie to him, like, I just don't understand.
Put some moisturizer on the back of the thighs, baby. Shit on nothing. Put some moisturizer on the back of the thighs. You know it. Stop playing. Stop playing, ass little boy. Crazy. Stop playing, ass little boy. You crazy as fuck. Ass little boy. I'll smack your big foot ass. You big ass wings on your feet, girl. Fuck out of here. Motion on that shit, man. And I clean that dirt ass off.
Boy, you funny as fuck. Look how she turned around.
Get to a corner, boy. It ain't hard to get one of them. It ain't hard to get one of them.
You know what I'm saying?
Where was that? Hey, I owed you this. Where was that? I owed you this. Where was that? Oh, you done started.
He said, oh, you done started.
Whoop the doo-doo right there.
And that boy said, you done started.
You talking about that?
Oh, you done started.
You talking about that? You talking about that? You know what we gotta work
These folks out here going crazy. These folks out here going crazy.
Shit ain't nothing, baby. Lose a pound. Tell her lose a pound. Little bit ass Pontiac. Oh, ain't having no damn
That's
money
what
out.
the
That boy
cloud
said,
does.
you don't even want that shit.
Go get one.
Clown. No, I don't want that.
Calmer is an Oriental word which has found its way into most English dictionaries. It stands for a principle of Eastern philosophy which is variously interpreted. To the average Western thinker, particularly the theologian, the term is objectionable, although the equivalent is found in the New Testament. As we are told in the New Testament, as a man soweth, so shall he reap.
Facts.
And this is very largely the traditional explanation or interpretation of the word karma. It also is found in the Buddhist scriptures, where Buddha says, effects follow their causes, as the wheels of the cart follow the foot of the oxen. Therefore, we are dealing with cause and effect. We are not dealing with punishment per se. We are not referring to a condition after death or in life in which evil forces take over the life or consciousness of a human being. We are not relating to demonology, nor to a Hades populated by ghosts and monsters. The word is simply a term to signify that the effects are inherent in their causes. Scientifically, this would probably not be seriously disputed. We observe every day that causes produce consequences. But most people are so much interested in their own ideas about consequences that they overlook the problem of causation. Today, as we look around us, we see an almost classic example of how causes produce their effects, how the way we do things becomes the way in which we are rewarded or punished. Karma is not a punishment bestowed by heaven. It is not a painful work given by deity to wayward children. Karma is simply the fact that there are rules in the game of life, rules in creation, rules that are just as inflexible as the law of gravity, rules that cannot be violated. And long ages of contemplation has built these rules into the theological writings of most of the nations of the world. These rules are first observed. Our remote ancestors saw them. They did not know what they meant, and they did not know why they happened. But they learned through thousands of years of experience that things that they did had consequences, and that these consequences were more or less inevitable. They found in those days that the individual who broke the common rules of life suffered. He suffered not because a divine power looked down on him and punished him. He suffered simply because he broke the law of cause and effect. This law is impersonal, it is just, it cannot be arbitrated, and it cannot be modified or changed by almost any process that we can think of. Actually, therefore, we live in a world in which we have to be thoughtful of what we do if we wish to enjoy the maximum benefits of existence.
Facts.
The purpose of knowledge, finally, is to discover what we can do that does not result in trouble. Ignorance, consequently, is the condition of being unaware that what we do has consequences. Now, we are mostly willing to accept certain visible forms of consequences. We know that if we eat the wrong foods, we will have dyspepsia. We know that if we become bound to drugs or narcotics or alcohol, we will pay for this indiscretion. We know we are capable of improving our living or destroying ourselves, according to our understanding and application of the principles of cause and effect. So the philosophy has as its primary purpose an effort to demonstrate clearly for the benefit of all concerned that you cannot make a mistake without getting into some kind of trouble. We can say that people do not know when they make a mistake. In certain cases this is true. But in the majority of instances, the mistake is intentional. It is intentional because the individual is more interested in getting something that he wants or avoiding something he should face than he is in thinking about the law of cause and effect. He thinks that evasion is possible, which it is not. He thinks that he can overlook rules in nature and that nature will overlook these mistakes. It will not happen this way because practically every mistake that can be made has consequences which are unfavorable. Now, of course, we can't all be perfect in everything, we will all be subject to the mistakes for a long time to come. But one of the commonest things that we might be able to do would be to build a pattern of the more common, simple, and obvious mistakes and how to avoid them. We should be teaching children certain rules to avoid mistakes on the consequential theory that these rules must be followed or trouble will follow. So karma becomes in our personal living as a force to take the place of the purgatories of ancient theologies. Instead of the individual going to some mysterious place after death where he will be boiled in oil, he can escape this very morbid and melancholy fact by realizing that the effects of causes are worked out on the same plane where the causation occurs. If we make a mistake on the physical level, we will pay for it physically. If we do something noble and glorious on the physical level, we will be rewarded accordingly. Karma as much deals with rewards as it does with punishments. If our mistakes are never overlooked, our virtues are not forgotten either. Everything we do right has certain enduring consequences for our betterment, improvement, and security. Therefore, karma actually is impersonal. It has nothing really to do with what we want or what we do not want. Karma has to do with what we have done, why, and how. It has to do with the simple payment of debt. It is like the individual who borrows more money than he can pay, and in the end lands in bankruptcy. This is not because God determined to break him. It is not because these laws are written in the Scriptures. It is really because the individual has done something he should not do. Mm-hmm. And he either did it from ignorance or from intent. Now, in the philosophies of life, ignorance is no excuse beyond a certain point. The individual who makes mistakes he doesn't know about and has no way of estimating can get into some trouble, but there are forms of forgiveness or Bard in Gilead which will help him. But the individual generally does not have unintentional mistakes, because the things he does while he gets mistakes are things he knows about, and therefore knows that he shouldn't have done them, and often regrets even before the results set in. Now this leaves many people in the arms of a quandary. If everything we do has consequence, suppose we do nothing. Suppose we wrap up in isolation and sit like St. Simon Stylites on the top of a column in the Libyan desert. We don't speak to anyone. We don't...
Yeah, because they say ignorance of the law is no excuse in any country. If it were, the laws would lose their effect because it can't always be pretended.
Attitude. The individual who sits alone long enough is paying karma right at that moment. He has given up making one kind of a mistake, has made another, and is sitting alone in the desert trying to understand the new mistake that he has just made. To do nothing, therefore, is not a solution. The only proper solution is to try, through study, thought, and experience, to do those things which are useful. From the moment of birth on, the individual is subjected to factors and factions with which he must contend. He must adjust to a world which perhaps he does not fully appreciate or does not wish to tolerate. But actually he is here for a purpose. We are all here for one purpose primarily, and that is to grow. No matter what we think of it, this world is a schoolhouse. In this schoolhouse, here to learn lessons. And the two factors that are important in our education is the education.
Oh, damn. I wasn't trying to do that. Sorry, y'all.
The Secret Teachings of All Ages. An encyclopedic outline of Masonic, Hermetic, Kabbalistic, and Rosicrucian symbolical philosophy, being an interpretation of the secret teachings concealed within the rituals, allegories, and mysteries of all ages. By Manly P. Hall. Narrated by Matthew Schmitz. This book is dedicated to the rational soul of the world. Preface. Numerous volumes have been written as commentaries upon the secrets of philosophy existing in the ancient world, but the ageless truths of life, like many of the earth's greatest thinkers, have usually been clothed in shabby garments. The present work is an attempt to supply a tome worthy of those seers and sages whose thoughts are the substance of its pages. To bring about this coalescence of beauty and truth has proved most costly, but I believe that the result will produce an effect upon the mind of the reader which will more than justify the expenditure. Work upon the text of this volume was begun the first day of January, 1926, and has continued almost uninterruptedly for over 2 years. The greater part of the research work, however, was carried on prior to the writing of the manuscript. The collection of reference material was begun in 1921, and 3 years later the plans for the book took definite form. For the sake of clarity, all footnotes were eliminated, the various quotations and references to other authors being embodied in the Metaphysics of Aristotle opens with these words: all men naturally desire to know. To satisfy this common urge, the unfolding human intellect has explored the extremities of imaginable space without and the extremities of imaginable self within, seeking to estimate the relationship between the one and the all, the effect and the cause, nature and the groundwork of nature, the mind and the source of the mind, the spirit and the substance of the spirit, the illusion and the reality. An ancient philosopher once said, "He who has not even a knowledge of common things is a brute among men. He who has an accurate knowledge of human concerns alone is a man among brutes. But he who knows all that can be known by intellectual energy is a god among men." Man's status in the natural world is determined, therefore, by the quality of his thinking. He whose mind is enslaved to his bestial instincts is philosophically not superior to the brute. He whose rational faculties ponder human affairs is a man, and he whose intellect is elevated to the consideration of divine realities is already a demigod, for his being partakes of the luminosity with which his reason has brought him into proximity. In his encomium of the science of sciences, Cicero is led to exclaim, "O philosophy, life's guide, O searcher out of virtue and expeller of vices, what could we and every age of men have been without thee? Thou hast produced cities, thou hast called men scattered about into the social enjoyment of life. In this age, the word philosophy has little meaning unless accompanied by some other qualifying term. The body of philosophy has been broken up into numerous isms, more or less antagonistic, which have become so concerned with the effort to disprove each other's fallacies that the sublimer issues of divine order and human destiny have suffered deplorable neglect. The ideal function of philosophy is to serve as the stabilizing influence in human thought. By virtue of its intrinsic nature, it should prevent man from ever establishing unreasonable codes of life. Philosophers themselves, however, have frustrated the ends of philosophy by exceeding in their wool-gathering those untrained minds whom they are supposed to lead in the straight and narrow path of rational thinking. To list and classify any but the more important of the now recognized schools of philosophy is beyond the space limitations of this volume. The vast area of speculation covered by philosophy will be appreciated best after a brief consideration of a few of the outstanding systems of philosophic discipline which have swayed the world of thought during the last 26 centuries. The Greek school of philosophy had its inception with the 7 immortalized thinkers upon whom was first conferred the appellation of Sophos, the wise. According to Diogenes Laertius, these were Thales, Solon, Chilon, Pittacus, Bias, Cleobulus, and Periander. Water was conceived by Thales to be the primal principle or element upon which the earth floated like a ship, and earthquakes were the result of disturbances in this universal sea. Since Thales was an Ionian, the school perpetuating his tenets became known as the Ionic. He died in 546 BC and was succeeded by Anaximander, who in turn was followed by Anaximenes, Anaxagoras, and Archelos, with whom the Ionic school ended. Anaximander, differing from his master Thales, declared measureless and indefinable infinity to be the principle from which all things were generated. Anaximenes asserted air to be the first element of the universe, that souls, and even the deity itself, were composed of it. Anaxagoras, whose doctrine savors of atomism, held God to be an infinite, self-moving mind, that this divine, infinite mind, not enclosed in any body, is the efficient cause of all things, out of the infinite matter consisting of similar parts, everything being made according to its species by the divine mind, who, when all things were at first confusedly mingled together, came and reduced them to order. Archelos declared the principle of all things to be twofold: mind, which was incorporeal, and air, which was corporeal, the rarefaction and condensation of the latter resulting in fire and water respectively. The stars were conceived by Archelos to be burning iron places. Heraclitus, who lived 536 to 470 BC and is sometimes included in the Ionic school, his doctrine of change and eternal flux asserted fire to be the first element and also the state into which the world would ultimately be reabsorbed. The soul of the world he regarded as an exhalation from its humid parts, and he declared the ebb and flow of the sea to be caused by the sun. After Pythagoras of Samos, its founder, the Italic or Pythagorean school numbers among its most distinguished representatives Empedocles, Epicharmus, Archytas, Alcmaeon, Hippasus, Philolaus, and Eudoxus. Pythagoras, 580 to 500 BC, conceived mathematics to be the most sacred and exact of all the sciences, and demanded of all who came to him for study a familiarity with arithmetic, astronomy, and geometry. He laid special emphasis upon the philosophic life as a prerequisite to wisdom. Pythagoras was one of the first teachers to establish a community wherein all the members were of mutual assistance to one another in the common attainment of the higher sciences. He also introduced the discipline of retrospection as essential to the development of the spiritual mind. Pythagoreanism may be summarized as a system of metaphysical speculation concerning the relationships between numbers and the causal agencies of existence. This school also first expounded the theory of celestial harmonies, or the music of the spheres. John Reuchlin said of Pythagoras that he taught nothing to his disciples before the discipline of silence, silence being the first rudiment of contemplation. In his Sophist, Aristotle credits Empedocles with the discovery of rhetoric. Both Pythagoras and Empedocles accepted the theory of transmigration, the latter saying, "A boy I was, then did I become a plant."
There we go again. I do it every damn time, don't we, y'all?
And in the vast sea swum. Archytas is credited with invention of the screw and the crane. Pleasure he declared to be a pestilence because it was opposed to the temperance of the mind. He considered a man without deceit to be as rare as a fish without bones. The Eleatic sect was founded by Xenophanes, 570 to 480 BC. The theory that human intellect develops through 3 stages of thought. The first and lowest stage is theological, the second metaphysical, and the third and highest positive. Thus, theology and metaphysics are the feeble intellectual efforts of humanity's child mind, and positivism is the mental expression of the adult intellect. In his Cours de philosophie positive, Comte writes, "In the final, the positive state, the mind has given over the vain search after absolute notions, the origin and destination of the universe, and the causes of phenomena, and applies itself to the study of their laws, that is, their invariable relations of succession and resemblance. Reasoning and observation, duly combined, are the means of this knowledge." Comte's theory is described as an enormous system of materialism. According to Comte, it was formerly said that the heavens declare the glory of God, but now they only recount the glory of Newton and Laplace. Among the French schools of philosophy are traditionalism, often applied to Christianity, which esteems tradition as the proper foundation for philosophy; the sociological school, which regards humanity as one vast social organism; the encyclopedists, whose efforts to classify knowledge according to the Baconian system revolutionized European thought; Voltaireism, which assailed the divine origin of the Christian faith and adopted an attitude of extreme skepticism toward all matters pertaining to theology; and Neocriticism, a French revision of the doctrines of Immanuel Kant. Henry Bergson, the intuitionalist, undoubtedly the greatest living French philosopher, presents a theory of mystic anti-intellectualism founded upon the premise of creative evolution. His rapid rise to popularity is due to his appeal to the finer sentiments in human nature, which rebel against the hopelessness and helplessness of materialistic science and realistic philosophy. Bergson sees God as life continually struggling against the limitations of matter. He even conceives the possible victory of life over matter, and in time, the annihilation of death. Applying the Baconian method to the mind, John Locke, the great English philosopher, declared that everything which passes through the mind is a legitimate object of mental philosophy, and that these mental phenomena are as real and valid as the objects of any other science. In his investigations of the origin of phenomena, Locke departed from the Baconian requirement that it was first necessary to make a natural history of facts. The mind was regarded by Locke to be blank until experience is inscribed upon it. Thus, the mind is built up of received impressions plus reflection. The soul, Locke believed to be incapable of apprehension of deity, and man's realization or cognition of God to be merely an inference of the reasoning faculty. David Hume was the enthusiastic and all the most powerful of the disciples of Locke. Attacking Locke's sensationalism, Bishop George Berkeley substituted for it a philosophy founded on Locke's fundamental premises, but which he developed as a system of idealism. Berkeley held that ideas are the real objects of knowledge. He declared it impossible to adduce proof that sensations are occasioned by material objects. He also attempted to prove that matter has no existence. Berkeleyanism holds that the universe is permeated and governed by mind. Thus, the belief in the existence of material objects is merely a mental condition, and the objects themselves may well be fabrications of the mind. At the same time, Berkeley considered it worse than insanity to question the accuracy of perceptions, for if the power of the perceptive faculty questioned is reduced to a creature capable of knowing, estimating, or realizing anything whatsoever. In the associationalism of Hartley and Hume was advanced the theory that the association of ideas is the fundamental principle of psychology and the explanation for all mental phenomena. Hartley held that if a sensation be repeated several times, there is a tendency towards its spontaneous repetition, which may be awakened by association with some other idea, and though the object causing the original reaction be absent. The utilitarianism of Jeremy Bentham, Archdeacon Paley, and James and John Stuart Mill declares that to be the greatest good which is the most useful to the greatest number. John Stuart Mill believed that if it is possible through sensation to secure knowledge of the properties of things, it is also possible through a higher state of the mind, that is, intuition or reason, to gain a knowledge of the true substance of things. Darwinism is the doctrine of natural selection and physical evolution. It has been said of Charles Robert Darwin that he meant to banish spirit together from the universe and make the infinite and omnipresent mind itself synonymous with the all-pervading powers of an impersonal nature. Agnosticism and Neo-Hegelianism are also noteworthy products of this period of philosophic thought. The former is the belief that the nature of ultimates is unknowable, the latter an English and American revival of Hegel's idealism. Dr. W. J. Durant declares that Herbert Spencer's great work, First Principles, made him almost at once the most famous philosopher of his time. Spencerianism is a philosophic positivism which describes evolution as an ever-increasing complexity with equilibrium at its highest possible state. According to Spencer, life is a continuous process from homogeneity to heterogeneity and back from heterogeneity to homogeneity. Life also involves the continual adjustment of internal relations to external relations. Most famous of all Spencer's aphorisms is his definition of deity. God is infinite intelligence, infinitely diversified through infinite time and infinite space,
Make sure y'all hit that like
manifesting
button.
through an infinitude of
Y'all like
ever-evolving
cloud.
individualities. The universality of the law of evolution was emphasized by Spencer, who applied it not only to the form, but also to the intelligence behind the form. In every manifestation of being, he recognized the fundamental tendency of unfoldment from simplicity to complexity, observing that when the point of equilibrium is reached, it is always followed by that process of dissolution. According to Spencer, however, disintegration took place only that reintegration might follow upon a higher level of being. The chief position in the Italian school of philosophy should be awarded to Giordano Bruno, who, after enthusiastically accepting Copernicus's theory that the sun is the center of the solar system, declared the sun to be a star, and all the stars to be suns. In Bruno's time, the earth was regarded as the center of all creation. Consequently, when he thus relegated the world and man to an obscure corner in space, the effect was cataclysmic. For the heresy of a multiplicity of verses and conceiving cosmos to be so vast that no single creed could fill it, Bruno paid the forfeit of his life. A Christian Trinity, from Hone's Ancient Mysteries Described. In an effort to set forth an appropriate figure, the Christian doctrine of the Trinity, it was necessary to devise an image in which the three persons, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, were separate and yet one. In different parts of Europe may be seen figures similar to the above, wherein three faces are united in one head. This is a legitimate method for to those able to realize the sacred significance of the fold head, a great mystery is revealed. However, in the presence of such applications of symbology in Christian art, it is scarcely proper to consider the philosophers of other faiths as benighted if, like the Hindus, they have a three-faced Brahma, or, like the Romans, a two-faced Janus. Vicoism is a philosophy based upon the conclusions of Giovanni Battista Vico, who held that God controls his world, not miraculously, but through natural law. The laws by which men rule themselves, Vico declared, issue from a spiritual source within mankind, which is en rapport with the law of the deity. Hence, material law is of divine origin and reflects the dictates of the spiritual father. The philosophy of ontologism, developed by Vincenzo Gioberti, generally considered more as a theologian than a philosopher, posits God as the only being and the origin of all knowledge, knowledge being identical with deity itself. God is consequently called being. Other manifestations are exists. Truth is to be discovered. Action upon this mystery. The most important of modern Italian philosophers is Benedetto Croce, a Hegelian idealist. Croce conceives ideas to be the only reality. He is anti-theological in his viewpoints, does not believe in the immortality of the soul, and seeks to substitute ethics and aesthetics for religion. Among other branches of Italian philosophy should be mentioned sensism, or sensationalism, which posits the sense perceptions as the sole channels for the reception of knowledge, criticism, or the philosophy of accurate judgment, and neo-scholasticism, which is a revival of Thomism encouraged by the Roman Catholic Church. The two outstanding schools of American philosophy are transcendentalism and pragmatism. Transcendentalism, exemplified in the writings of Ralph Waldo Emerson, emphasizes the power of the transcendental over the physical. Many of Emerson's writings show pronounced Oriental influence, particularly his essays on the Oversoul and the Law of Compensation. The theory of pragmatism, while not original with Professor William James, owes its widespread popularity as a philosophic tenet to his efforts. Pragmatism may be defined as the doctrine that the meaning and nature of things are to be discovered from consideration of their consequences. The true, according to James, is only an expedient in the way of our thinking, just as the right is only an expedient in the way of our behaving. See his Pragmatism. John Dewey, the instrumentalist who applies the experimental attitude to all the aims of life, should be considered a commentator of James. To Dewey, growth and change are limitless, and no ultimates are postulated. The long residence in America of George Santayana warrants the listing of this great Spaniard among the ranks of American philosophers, defending himself with the shield of skepticism alike from the illusions of the senses and cumulative errors of the ages. Santayana seeks to lead mankind into a more apprehending state, denominated by him the life of reason. In addition to the authorities already quoted, in the preparation of the foregoing abstract of the main branches of philosophic thought, the present writer has had recourse to Stanley's History of Philosophy, Morel's an historical and critical view of the speculative philosophy of Europe in the 19th century, Singer's Modern Thinkers and Present Problems, Rand's Modern Classical Philosophers, Windelband's History of Philosophy, Perry's Present Philosophical Tendencies, Hamilton's Lecture on Metaphysics and Logic, and Durant's The Story of Philosophy. Having thus traced the more or less sequential development of philosophic speculation from Thales to James and Bergson, it is now in order to direct the reader's attention to the elements leading to and the circumstances attendant upon the genesis of philosophic thinking. Although the Hellenes proved themselves peculiarly responsive to the disciplines of philosophy, this science of sciences should not be considered indigenous to them. Although some of the Grecians, writes Thomas Stanley, have challenged to their nation the origin of philosophy, yet the more learned of them have acknowledged it to be derived from the East. The magnificent institutions of Hindu, Chaldean, and Egyptian learning must be recognized as the actual source of Greek wisdom. The last was patterned after the shadow cast by the sanctuaries of Elora, and Memphis on the thought substance of a primitive people. Thales, Pythagoras, and Plato, in their philosophic wanderings, contacted many distant cults and brought back the lore of Egypt and the inscrutable Orient. From indisputable facts such as these, it is evident that philosophy emerged from the religious mysteries of antiquity, not being separated from religion until after the decay of the mysteries. Hence, he who would fathom the depths of philosophic thought must familiarize himself with the teachings of those initiated priests designated as the first custodians of divine revelation. The mysteries claim to be the guardians of a transcendental knowledge, so profound as to be incomprehensible save to the most exalted intellect, and so potent as to be revealed with safety only to those in whom personal ambition was dead, and who had consecrated their lives to the unselfish service of humanity. Both the dignity of these sacred institutions and the validity of their claim to possession of universal wisdom are attested by the most illustrious philosophers of antiquity, who were themselves initiated into the profundities of secret doctrine and who bore witness to its efficacy. The question may legitimately be propounded: if these ancient mystical institutions were of such great pith and moment, why is so little information now available concerning them and the arcana they claimed to possess? The answer is simple enough. The mysteries were secret societies, binding their initiates to inviolable secrecy and avenging with death the betrayal of their sacred trusts. Although these schools were the true inspiration of the various doctrines promulgated by the ancient philosophers, the fountainhead of those doctrines was never revealed to the profane. Furthermore, in the lapse of time, the teachings became so inextricably linked with the names of their disseminators that the actual but recondite source, the mysteries, came to be wholly ignored. Symbolism is the language of the mysteries. In fact, it is the language not only of mysticism and philosophy, but of all nature, for every law and power active in universal procedure is manifested to the limited sense perceptions of man through the medium of symbol. Every form existing in the diversified sphere of being is symbolic of the divine activity by which it is produced. By symbols, men have ever sought to communicate to each other those thoughts which transcend the limitations of language. Rejecting man-conceived dialects as inadequate and unworthy to perpetuate divine ideas, the mysteries thus chose symbolism as a far more ingenious and ideal method of preserving their transcendental knowledge. In a single figure, a symbol may both reveal and seal, for to the wise, the subject of the symbol is obvious, while to the ignorant the figure remains inscrutable. Hence, he who seeks to unveil the secret doctrine of antiquity must search for that doctrine not upon the open pages of books which might fall into the hands of the unworthy, but in the place where it was originally concealed. Far-sighted were the initiates of antiquity. They realized that nations come and go, that empires rise and fall, and that the golden ages of art, science, and idealism are succeeded by the dark ages of superstition. With the needs of posterity foremost in mind, the sages of old went to inconceivable extremes to make certain that their knowledge should be preserved. They engraved it upon the face of mountains and concealed it within the measurements of colossal images, each of which was a geometric marvel. Their knowledge of chemistry and mathematics they hid within mythologies, which the ignorant would perpetuate, or in the spans and arches of their temples, which time has not entirely obliterated. They wrote in characters that neither the vandalism of men nor the ruthlessness of the elements could completely efface. Today, men gaze with awe and reverence upon the mighty Memnons standing alone on the sands of Egypt, or upon the strange terraced pyramids of Palenque. Mute testimonies these are of the lost arts and sciences of antiquity, and concealed, this wisdom must retain until this race has learned to read the universal language. Symbolism. The book to which this is the introduction is dedicated to the proposition that concealed within the emblematic figures, allegories, and rituals of the ancients is a secret doctrine concerning the inner mysteries of life, which doctrine has been preserved in toto among a small band of initiated minds since the beginning of the world. Departing, these illumined philosophers left their formulae that others too might attain to understanding. But, lest these processes fall into uncultured hands and be perverted, the great arcanum was always concealed in symbol or allegory, and those who can today discover its lost keys may open with them a treasure house of philosophic, scientific, and religious truths. The Orphic Egg, from Bryant's An Analysis of Ancient Mythology. The ancient symbol of the Orphic mysteries was the serpent-entwined egg, which signified cosmos as encircled by the fiery creative spirit. The egg also represents the soul of the philosopher, the serpent, the mysteries. At the time of initiation, the shell is broke, and man emerges from the embryonic state of physical existence, wherein he had remained through the fetal period of philosophic regeneration. The ancient mysteries and secret societies which have influenced modern Masonic symbolism. When confronted with a problem involving the use of reasoning faculties, individuals of strong intellect keep their poise and seek to reach a solution by obtaining bearing upon the question. Those of mature mentality, on the other hand, when similarly confronted, are overwhelmed. While the former may be qualified to solve the riddle of their own destiny, the latter must be led like a flock of sheep and taught in simple language. They depend mostly entirely upon the ministrations of the shepherd. The Apostle Paul said that these little ones must be fed with milk, but that meat is the food of strong men. Thoughtlessness is almost synonymous with childishness, while thoughtfulness is symbolic of maturity. There are, however, but few mature minds in the world, and thus it was that the philosophic religious doctrines of the pagans were divided to meet the needs of these two fundamental groups of human intellect, one philosophic, the other incapable of appreciating the deeper mysteries of life. To the discerning few were revealed the esoteric or spiritual teachings, while the unqualified many received only the literal or exoteric interpretations. In order to make simple the great truths of nature and the abstract principles of natural law, the vital forces of the universe were personified, becoming the gods and goddesses of the ancient mythologies. While the ignorant multitudes brought their offerings to the altars of Priapus and Pan, deities representing the procreative energies, the wise recognized in these marble statues only symbolic concretions of great abstract truths. In all cities of the ancient world were temples for public worship and offering. In every community also were philosophers and mystics, deeply versed in nature's lore. These individuals were usually banded together, forming seclusive, philosophic and religious schools. The more important of these groups were known as the mysteries. Many of the great minds of antiquity were initiated into these secret fraternities by strange and mysterious rites, some of which were extremely cruel. Alexander Wilder defines the mysteries as sacred dramas performed at stated periods. The most celebrated were those of Isis, Sabazius, Sibyl, and Eleusis. After being admitted, the initiates were instructed in the secret wisdom which had been preserved for ages. Plato, an initiate of one of these sacred orders, was severely criticized because, in his writings, he revealed to the public many of the secret philosophic principles of the mysteries. Every pagan nation had, and has, not only its state religion, but another into which the philosophic elect alone have gained entrance. Many of these ancient cults vanished from the earth without revealing their secrets, but a few have survived the test of the ages, and their mysterious symbols are still preserved. Much of the ritualism of Freemasonry is based on the trials to which candidates were subjected by the ancient hierophants before the keys of wisdom were entrusted to them. Few realize the extent to which the ancient secret schools influenced contemporary intellects and, through those minds, posterity. Robert McCoy, 33rd degree, in his General History of Freemasonry, pays a magnificent tribute to the part played by the ancient mysteries in the rearing of the edifice of human culture. He says, in part, "It appears that all the perfection of civilization and all the advancement made in philosophy, science, and art among the ancients are due to those institutions which, under the veil of mystery, sought to illustrate the sublimest truths of religion, morality, and virtue, and impress them on the hearts of their disciples. Their chief object was to teach the doctrine of one God, the resurrection of man to eternal life, the dignity of the human soul, and to lead the people to see the shadow of the deity in the beauty, magnificence, and splendor of the universe." With the decline of virtue, which has preceded the destruction of every nation of history, the mysteries became perverted. Sorcery took the place of the divine magic. Indescribable practices, such as the bacchanalia, were introduced, and perversion ruled supreme. For no institution can be any better than the members of which it is composed. In despair, the few who were true sought to preserve the secret doctrines from oblivion. In some cases they succeeded, but more often the arcanum was lost, and only the empty shell of the mysteries remained. Thomas Taylor has written, "Man is naturally a religious animal. From the earliest dawning of his consciousness, man has worshipped and revered things as symbolic of the invisible, omnipresent, indescribable thing, concerning which he could discover practically nothing. The pagan mysteries opposed the Christians during the early centuries of their church, declaring that the new faith, Christianity, did not demand virtue and integrity as requisites for salvation." Celsus expressed himself on the subject in the following caustic terms: "That I do not, however, accuse the Christians more bitterly than truth compels, may be conjectured from hence, that the criers who call men to other mysteries proclaim as follows: Let him approach whose hands are pure, and whose words are wise. And again others proclaim, Let him approach who is pure from all wickedness, whose soul is not conscious of any evil, and who leads a just and upright life. And these things are proclaimed by those who promise a purification from error. Let us now hear those who are called to the Christian mysteries. Whoever is a sinner, whoever is unwise, whoever is a fool, and whoever, in short, is miserable, him the kingdom of God will receive. Do you not therefore call a sinner an unjust man, a thief, a housebreaker, a wizard, one who is sacrilegious, and a robber of sepulchres? What other persons would the crier nominate? Who should call robbers together? It was not the true faith of the early.
Do you know what kind of twin flame you are?
The Great Arcanum. Conquering the Serpent Within. The following video is mostly the opinion and research done by GnosticTeachings.org. Edged in stone above the entrance of the famous Oracle of Delphi reads, "Know thyself, and thou shalt know all the mysteries of the gods and of the universe." In the mystical tradition of Judaism, the science of the tree of life is called the Kabbalah. This wisdom is universal and is found in every great religious tradition. Science of the tree of life is a map of the universe and of the human soul. The tree of life is an ancient symbol that is universal in meaning and is found in all the cultures that have held esoteric knowledge. Just as the tree of life maps the macrocosmos, the expansive universe, it also maps the microcosmos, man the reflection of the universe. Tree of life symbolizes the structure of the soul and the structure of creation. Its roots are in the highest realms, and its branches and leaves are all the worlds and the many beings that exist. This tree gives us the fruit of life, sustenance, and wisdom. Possessing an illuminated tree of life within means that one's inner senses are fully open and active, providing a direct relationship with God. Knowledge in Greek is gnosis, and in Hebrew is da'at. Da'at is the hidden sphere found in the Kabbalah, which traditionally is never spoken or revealed. Da'at, or gnosis, is the science of the Great Arcanum, that secret knowledge that has been hidden from humanity for ages. However, close examination of the use of the word knowledge in the Bible gives strong indications of the nature of da'at, or gnosis, and so it seems that knowledge in the Bible relates to sexuality. Hence, the tree of knowledge, da'at, gnosis, is a direct reference to sexuality. So what is the purpose of this reference to sex and its role in the fate of Adam and Eve? the caduceus. Humanity was physically separated into two sexes, man and woman. Man and woman still carry the reflection of their creator. Within every male still exists a female aspect, and within every woman exists a male aspect. In this meaning, Adam and Eve symbolize the energetic physiology of the individual. Adam and Eve as polarized energy are represented in the ancient symbol of the caduceus, associated to the Greek god Hermes. The symbol of the caduceus is visible in many ancient cultures from around the world. The two serpents symbolize the masculine and feminine energy channels that wind up the spinal column. They are energetic, not physical. Their root is yasod, the foundation, the sexual organs, and they are fed by sexual energy. Two serpents wind up the spinal column of the physical body. The spine is often symbolized by a staff or a rod. The spine is the staff of the master and the central column of the human temple. The spine has 33 vertebrae, symbolized by the life of Jesus and by the 33 degrees of the Freemasons. On either side of this rod, the spinal column, are two serpents. Pingala is the masculine aspect, Adam, Solar. Ida is the feminine aspect, Eve, Lunar. Man is the active force, the reflection of God the Father. Woman as the receptive force, the reflection of God, the Mother. And sex is the force that brings them together. These are the three forces that give rise to all of creation, and this is the foundation of the universal symbol of the Trinity. The Trinity is a unity of three that express as one. But in order to create, this one divides itself in two, male and female. This is the mystery of the Holy Spirit, the fire of God. Symbolized in India as Shiva and Shakti, the creative and destructive power of God. The force that powers all of creation on all levels of existence is sexual energy. Sexual energy is symbolized by fire, by water and light. The sexual fire is the power of creation. In the tradition of alchemy, the sexual energy is symbolized by Mercury. All of life is born of the sexual waters, the power of creation. Harnessing the force of that electric energy implies a great responsibility. To indulge in the fruit of sexuality means to spill the sexual energy, to orgasm, to taste the divine energy that illuminates the soul in order to feel physical sensation. So the energy used to maintain the physical and spiritual vitality of the individual is
That's why when you got that good, the Negroes be saying you got that fire. Ain't that what do what I say? I got that fire. I got the fire. Holla at a nigga if you want to ask him fire.
felt through the orgasm. It is very important that the tremendous energy that gives mankind the ability to create be used efficiently, because it is connected to the same energetic force that sustains the individual's own vitality. At the time, humanity only knew goodness until eating the forbidden fruit and discovered animal desire, which always leads to suffering and pain. This is the Pandora's box of Greek mythology, which when opened, releases the agents of evil into the world. Fear, pride, shame. Desire is craving, and craving is suffering. Desire always leads to suffering. This is the core message found in every great religion. The slave of desire is a slave of sin. The abandonment of desire, the deathless state is realized. Stripped of their connection to the divine, Adam and Eve as symbols of humanity were cast out of Eden to wander in a wilderness of suffering and ignorance. Eden exists within every soul, that is united with God. Expelling the light of God from within expels the soul from Eden and creates a great emptiness. To replace the void created by this disconnection with God, mankind created civilizations, ideas, and religion, seeking material wealth, power, and sexual satisfaction. Desire for sensation became the new God and only served to further degenerate mankind until man was left with only a trace of the divine inside. Adam and Eve were cast out of Eden. However, the gateway back to Eden and the tree of life was never closed or locked. The entrance to the Garden of Eden is the same door through which Adam and Eve departed. Serpent itself is power. The individual decides through their actions whether it would be a power for good or evil. It is the difference between obeying the serpent or controlling it. The lesson contained in the story of the serpent is that only those with the strength of will to control the cravings of their mind can raise the energetic serpent to transform themselves from intellectual animals into true human beings. It is necessary to conquer the dragon that lies within, as religions and mystical traditions have told us for endless ages. The dragon is one's own lust, passion, anger, pride, fear, and envy. Great heroes and gods always have the serpent under their power, and it is the serpent that protects them and conquers their enemies. There is the serpent of Moses, who commanded its power and conquered the Egyptians, accomplishing great miracles. The Egyptians had degenerated into black magic, and Moses appeared to deliver the true teachings. The positive serpent protects, while the negative serpent must be dominated and conquered. Moses needed to free the people of Israel from Egypt. Egypt represents the degenerated mind of man, and the Pharaoh is a tyrant that jealously rules over this man-made civilization of material power and desire. Israel is a compound word. Is from Isis, the Egyptian divine mother. Ra is from Amun-Ra, the divine father, and El is in Hebrew for God. Moses was told to take the rod, the spinal column, the tree of life within his own body, and it became the serpent of the Kundalini. Only the positive serpent under the divine service of God can free the soul from suffering. This is clearly represented in Egyptian art. Sex is a natural function of the human being, but only sex, as performed under the guidance of divine will. Sex is not only important for spiritual advancement, it is a necessity. It is through sexual energy that the vehicle of the human soul is born. This is self-evident in those who seek happiness in sex. As of any desire of the mind, sexual desire can never be satisfied. Desire is never satisfied by the enjoyment of lust, just as fire surely increases the more you give it fuel. Kingdom in Hebrew is called the Malkuth, the kingdom. This is the first sephirah on the tree of life. It is where the real work physically begins, as man and woman. Humanity left Eden as a couple, and as a couple they must return. A couple that must work together in order to reach perfection. Rather than feeding.
This is one of the most interesting reads I've come across. It's rather complex and takes a while to digest.
The Great Arcanum. This is clearly the king. They can illuminate the tree of life, which exists in the human body, the spinal column, and they can create divine light within themselves and return to the direct knowledge of their inner garden.
The Great Pyramid is part of an attempt to create a three-dimensional model of the afterlife realm. Not only does the Great Pyramid give us the dimensions of the Earth, but it does so on a scale defined by the Earth itself.
The weathering and erosion that I saw on the Sphinx was not compatible with Sahara.
Oh my goodness, USU community, my soul family.
The twin flame reunion has begun. The time is now. Twin flames are reuniting all over the world. They are having the dreams, and they are beginning to recall a deeper nature within each other. They are one, becoming strong spiritual pillars on their own and sounding the soul cry. They are finding themselves once again, returning after millions of years apart. They are reuniting for a grand purpose, to assist humanity through the Golden Age and into the new world, the new way of being, as unconditional love and light is the new order of things to come. If you find that you are experiencing a pull to your twin flame, you are experiencing the dreams. When you reach a certain level of consciousness or a higher frequency level in one life, your soul has to split into two in order to come back down into a physical body. This means that there are essentially two of you roaming the earth. Both of you are in a way half the energy that you originally were. This other half of your energy is your twin flame, and when the two of you cross paths or meet, it is like you instantly feel whole again. This energetic split does not happen to everyone. It only happens to those who have reached a certain frequency or a level of consciousness. Unquestionable is the unbreakable bond you recognize when your twin flame appears. You know who they are, but you don't know how you know. Every twin flame journey is unique in itself, but one aspect they all share is the great purging of the soul. Your twin will unintentionally take you on a breathtaking ride into the depths of your darkest fears until you are forced to face them head-on. Hiding your feelings in any way or for any reason is futile and will only make the situation worse. Twins must live in truth, for that is who they are. They cannot hide from each other, for they share the same soul. They are mirrors of the same and reflect each other's light or darkness, and this is why it becomes so difficult at times when both fall into a low energy frequency level. The twin flame reunion is the most beautiful, magical experience you could ever have, and by far the greatest gift you could ever receive. You simply find your twin arriving in your life. They will be there, as they always will be. Twin flame relationships lift you up, bring you down, teach you lessons, and they are extremely intense. Being in a twin flame relationship is similar to a roller coaster, where you never know what is going to happen next. Even though twin flames can literally drive you crazy, their main purpose is to help you experience the process of awakening. They help you realize your true self, and they show you who you really are, not who you want to be. And that is one of the reasons why twin flame relationships are so difficult and unpredictable. Once these two twin flame energies finally merge again, no matter how many cycles of reincarnation it takes, they will form an unbreakable bond of unconditional love. No one else in the world can compare to your twin flame, not even close. It becomes blatantly obvious that they are the only one that can fill the gap in your heart. In each twin, there is a magnet pull that attracts the two of you together. Like attracts like, and you can meet at any time, at any stage of your life journey. When you come together, the relationship is very intense. This is because you are not only dealing with the baggage in your own mind and body, but you also have to deal with your baggage in another body. This means that the two of you not only see yourself in each other, but you also see your opposite traits and flaws. Almost like looking into each other is like looking into a mirror. Now, this doesn't mean that twin flame relationships won't work. They can definitely work, and the two of you can definitely live together in harmony. However, this is all dependent on whether the two of you have learned to love yourselves first, because essentially, your twin flame is you. Twin flame relationships are usually romantic because there is an attraction on all levels, including a sexual attraction. When you meet your twin flame, there is an instant feeling of knowing and connection. People might comment that you look alike or that you look good together. Often, the two of you will have similar personalities and reflect the light and shadow sides of each other. Sometimes you may not be able to recognize your twin flame because you have not been able to regain the same level of consciousness you acquired before you split into two. Think of it this way. You live one lifetime understanding a higher frequency and a higher vibration, but suddenly you lose half of this and come into physical form with half the energy or consciousness you once had. This could manifest in your early childhood years as feeling out of place, like you don't belong, frustrated about the world, and highly inquisitive. You may also have highly enlightened visions or thoughts at a young age, even if you were not exposed to it. Being at a lower frequency or vibration and having to regain your consciousness is a challenge that you have to overcome this time around. And sometimes it could take multiple lifetimes in order to reach the stage that you were once at. As soon as your twin is created, you enter the earth at the same time, or within a few years of each other. If you have a twin flame, you will meet in every lifetime, regardless of your level of consciousness. But whether the two of you can make it work will depend on your frequency and essentially, how much you have learned to love yourself unconditionally. It all comes back to self-love. There is a great purpose for you and your twin flame, a purpose of assisting humanity to return to its true nature of unconditional love and light, ending duality and beginning the new road of isness, oneness. The harmonic resonance of heaven on earth is eternal. Our journey in the three-dimensional reality of cause and effect, right from wrong, good and bad, has come to a close, and a new reality is being birthed through you, by way of you, which is the unconditional love and acceptance of all, loving and allowing all people to be who they are. Your purpose is beginning, the dreams, the awakenings, the enlightenment. The time has come for things to shift, and you are very intricate and important in this process and make a big difference by simply being here now. You are reuniting. The more content you are with this form of love, the closer your twin flame and you will become. You will notice your twin flame here, in this dimension, becoming closer and closer to you. Meeting your twin flame is life-changing. I know very well myself, as I have been lucky enough to meet my twin flame. To all of the twin flames coming together, shine your light, embark on your mission, and always be grateful for your gift. As above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, soul the soul. Feel the resonance, unconditional love and acceptance for eternity. Sending you love, light, and blessings from the twin flames, Allegra and Gary Light.